Okay.
Hello, dearies. This is Mrs. Doubtfire. My accent sucks, but
Terrible.
welcome to the Doer and the Thinker podcast. My name is Jonathan Spooky Season Serrano.
My name is Xander. Gray. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
not bad.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, you didn't tell me those was gonna be nicknames and shit, but
I just played it by the heart.
threw me off.
This is the extra special Spooky Season Halloween bonus episode.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween. Halloween. This is Halloween.
Okay.
Okay.
And now that we are here, this is our little different change of pace here. We got
This looks nice.
Yeah.
I know you can't see the camera, but I can, and I think it looks nice.
yeah. So
Very nice.
This is a little bonus episode that we are putting out to talk about some spooky season shit. And Xander is dressed in costume. What are you?
Vegan. If you eat meat, I'll just you on the head. But I won't kill you because
Because you're vegan and
I'm vegan.
you don't hurt animals, right?
I'm humankind.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I'm a dinosaur.
I'm not a dinosaur, bitch. I'm a dragon.
Oh, dragon.
I'm pretending to be a Dungeons and Dragon nerd. That's what I'm doing for Halloween.
Have you seen Tropic Thunder?
Yeah.
Flaming dragon. You're a flaming dragon.
No, I don't remember that.
Flaming dragon.
So I rented all these Dungeons and Dragons books behind Xander's for the look, the props.
You rented?
Yeah. I got them from some nerd. So that's what my Halloween costume is.
So what you're saying is you're not a Dungeons and Dragon nerd.
No.
What you're saying is in real life, you're not an actual D&D nerd. You've never played Dungeons and Dragons.
No.
You've never DM.
That's for fucking nerds, dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, I'm a normal person.
No, okay. Do you play sports?
Yeah. Play all the sports.
All the sports. I'm a sports guy.
I remember one time I was, let me tell you this fucking sports story real quick.
Let's go.
Okay, on a real note, I'm a fucking huge nerd. These are all my books. I didn't rent them because,
Fucking obviously. It's kind of obvious.
just in case you really believe me, because
Nobody believes
this
you.
is the extent of my sports, all right? Before we get into spooky season, I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
It was Little League. I got all my equipment, right? Like my bat, my glove, my all the shit, right? So it's first day of practice for Little League, the very first day. We get there, and I'm nervous as fuck because I'm a little kid and I'm fat, and the coach says, "All right, everybody, just start warming up," And my uncles and my grandpa were like big. They're like big baseball fans, right? So they were like trying to they were teaching me stuff before I ever did anything, like teaching me how to hit or whatever, teaching me how to play catch. So I didn't know how to play catch. So we were playing catch to warm up, right?
Yeah.
The third throw, this kid that I'm playing catch with,
Oh, boy.
he throws it up high, and I'm just like, oh, I got it, And I lost it in the sun. Ball comes down, fucking pops me right in the eye, dude.
I knew it.
That's the extent of my sports
So
play.
after that, you're like, I'm done.
No, I actually finished that season. Like,
Oh, okay.
I didn't. Obviously, I went home that day. I went home that day, and I came back though. Like, shout out to younger me. I came back. I didn't let it. I didn't let it put me down. But I had a big black eye. First black eye I probably ever had. And
Have you been in a fight?
like a physical fist fight?
What do you think a fight
It
is?
can be a verbal fight.
No, like a fisticuffs.
No, I've never.
Fisticuffs. No, okay.
I mean, not like. I mean, I've been in mosh pits and stuff, but like.
No, that's
I've
not a
never,
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But I've never actually.
So that's your
Confronted.
extent of sports.
That is my sports.
Yeah. I think that's okay. I think you have a different type of competitive nature in you. For especially with games and verbal talk, brain kind of shit, you're oh, you're going down. But I think the physical stuff, obviously I'm not speaking for you. I think the physical stuff, it's more like it seems to me like you don't care enough of it. It's just like this almost doesn't interest you or whatever.
No, it does interest me. Like I want to play. I want all of us to play like a softball league or something. I think that'd be cool. I like sports. It's just that I don't really play them organized or
Yeah,
really
Do you
ever.
have friends like then and maybe even now that are into sports? Oh,
That's fucking loud.
That's
dude.
so loud.
That's a ghost.
Spooky.
Spooky ghost.
So yeah, do you have any friends that are like really into sports or whatever? Because I'm just thinking like, I've always like are in like into sports. Like I think my like, if I can say like what my favorite sport would be is soccer, right? So I grew up watching soccer, playing soccer. My grandpa's a huge soccer fan, and I had like a lot of friends that played soccer. We played soccer like every day or whatever. So that's like my sport, you know? So I'm just kind of thinking like, unless you have people around you that are not really into it too much, like it's just based on influence. So if like people around you are more into like books or like drawing or acting, theater, whatever, then inadvertently that would be kind of what you would be kind of into until you're like, oh, maybe that's not really for me, until you're old enough to kind of like be self-aware enough to know the difference.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just kind of like
No,
curious.
a lot of my friends are into sports. I'm like the person that is probably least into it.
Yeah.
As far as like spectating, I love playing sports. I will always play, like, it doesn't matter what it is, But as far as watching it goes, I'll watch baseball here and there and stuff. But
If it's on, right? Yeah. If it's
I don't
on.
know. I was like, I like baseball.
Okay.
Like, I'll follow it. I haven't followed it recently as close, but we would go to like games and stuff all the time, and I grew up watching baseball with my family.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. It's just not something that I've ever had access to, really.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think because when I moved out here, because I didn't have cable or whatever, like, and refused to pay for it because I'm cheap, I just don't even think about it. I didn't really play. I mean, I didn't really watch it, like, unless like football, or whatever. If it's on TV, I'll watch it, and I can actually get into it. I'm like, but because it's not in my everyday life, I don't care enough, And again, like with doing like music, or whatever, so I'm just kind of more involved in that aspect, and I didn't really have a lot of friends that are way into sports like that. So yeah. I can only assume that if my circle was a little bit more different, then maybe I'll be a different person or whatever. Is the heater on or whatever?
Yeah,
What's going on there? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's fine.
Hopefully.
We will deal with it later.
So, back to the bonus of the episode. Mm-hmm. The big question.
Let's go.
Do you believe in ghosts?
When I was younger, yes. But I think growing up Asian, you're kind of almost supposed to, like,
that's fair.
Like growing up, it's like everything's fucking spooky growing up. At least for me, like the stories. So my ghost story or like spooky stories are usually female based, and they always have super long hair, cover their face. They have either an ugly face or no. If you actually pull back the long, greasy black hair, they might have a beautiful face, but it's like they have fucked up teeth. They'll eat you alive, and they wear white. It's just typical shit. Think about The Grudge and like, what's the other one? The Ring times 10, times 100. So I remember growing up, I live in like apartments, and they're usually lights, but because you're so ingrained in that spooky shit, being Asian or whatever, like walking alone or walking a certain like hallway or whatever, you just like, somebody's gonna fucking attack me. You just know.
Yeah, that's when you run, right?
You always run. So for me, I always test myself, So I got home, took the bus or whatever. I got home, and this little shortcut pathway to like the apartments, right? But it's kind of on grass. There's a little walkway, and it's dark, completely dark. And it's like either I walk in the light, but it's way further, or I can just cut through the grass. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna cut through the grass. Ghosts aren't real. I was like maybe.
Did you have to hype yourself up before?
Oh yeah.
Like you're just standing outside and just fucking pacing back and forth.
Yeah, because I just got home. Usually I run home. Always. When you get off the bus, you're like, So I was like, you know what? No, not today. Not today. Today, I become a man. I was like maybe 14, 15 years old. Today's different. So I start walking down the pathway. And I swear to God, even now, I don't know if it was in my head or whatever, I heard like a person whisper in my ear, like a female's name. Like, I don't exactly remember what it was. It's like, Stephanie. And I'm just like, pew! I just like, Stephanie. I was gone. I ran home. I was like, if I drop anything, not going to pick it up. Ran home. And then that was like the extent of, I guess, ghost stories or whatever. I mean, I have more, but that was like that really stuck with me.
When I was a kid,
and I think nobody believed me when I told. I mean, you probably didn't believe me.
I fucking believe you, dude. Like I don't know. I don't know what I believe in. I don't think it's ghosts. I don't know, honestly. I really don't know. But I definitely there's something that like I have no choice but to believe. But
yeah, it's almost like too obvious. Like there's no other explanations but to believe.
Yeah, I've had too many experiences where it's like it's just there's no other choice. But as a kid. It's so weird, dude. As a kid, I would be one of those kids that like you're standing at, say like you're downstairs, right? Mm-hmm. And then your mom's like, "Oh, turn off the lights and lock the doors." So I'd go lock the doors, and I'm locking the door or turn off the light. And you know how sometimes you have like a downstairs flip and then an upstairs flip or whatever, and sometimes you don't. We didn't have it. So
you have to go downstairs to turn it off.
I have to go downstairs.
You have to literally go downstairs, turn it off, and then walk your scary ass butt up the stairs. Back up the stairs.
So I would be there hyping myself up, and then I'm just like, all right. Like,
you got this.
Flip, and just like get up there as fast as I could, because I don't know, but for some reason when the lights, it's stupid, but when I always feel something here, like on the outside of my ears, like
just like
something
in your ears or something.
I don't know. Yeah. It's like hot, not hot, but like. It's just something like
a
weird.
Presence, a presence, yeah.
So that's when it started. But then I would like be vacuuming as a kid, and then this is the reason why I don't feel comfortable, like having if I'm in a house by myself or almost anywhere by myself, I won't ever wear headphones.
Okay.
So when I was vacuuming, it would like drown out my senses, and I would always see shit out of the corner of my eye, like always, dude. And I would be vacuuming, and then like I'd look, nothing there, of course. And
I'm not gonna stand there like wave at you.
And my mom would always yell at me because I didn't like to vacuum, and I didn't tell her because I didn't want to feel like an idiot, That's the reason I didn't like to vacuum. Yeah, seriously, dude.
Chupacabra.
But as an adult, though. I mean, I've had some spooky experiences. Like we went to like a haunted insane asylum. I went with a couple of my friends, and we went inside and we were kind of exploring a little bit, and I heard a voice. Like it was weird because we went into a room and I was like, oh, dude, it's hot in here. I wonder why it's so hot, and it's abandoned. Like there's nobody in there, and I heard a voice, and it's almost like if somebody was on the other side of the wall and somebody was talking,
So it's almost like muffled a little bit.
Yeah, like in an apartment, like if you're in an apartment, And my friends were talking. I was like, shut up. And I was like, somebody's talking, and I was like, oh fuck, I think it's the cops because we weren't supposed to be there. So I thought the cops were on the outside of the building,
They're scary too.
I was like, well, yeah. So I was like, let's get out of here, So we left.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anybody there. So we went outside of the building where we were. Mm-hmm. In the room, we went on the outside of it, and there was nothing but like bushes for like 5 or 10 feet. So there's like no cops that would have been there's nobody that could have been standing there because, there was nowhere to stand. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's a little weird, you know?
Right.
But I would say that my biggest experience and my most intense experiences with spooky paranormal stuff is with sleep paralysis. Have you ever had sleep paralysis?
Yeah.
When you have how often do you have it?
When I was younger, a lot.
Really?
A lot. So it's like, it's yeah, often actually. So I remember a few times where I'm asleep, and then I know I'm asleep, and then like I was like, okay, I'm gonna wake up, and I just couldn't wake up. It just felt like my body was on hold, like somebody was holding me down, and and I start panicking, right? I start panicking, and I was like, okay, no, you got this. This is your body. You can handle this. And then it took well, at least in my head, I'm thinking I'm taking a few minutes to wake up, and then I'm I know I'm asleep, but I'm still asleep, you know.
Eyes open or closed?
Um, I've had it happen closed and open.
Okay.
So this particular story is closed. So I'm like in this. It's almost like this realm of darkness, and I know I'm asleep, and okay, I'm ready to wake up. I want to wake up, and I felt that weight, and then it took me a while, and then I just kind of woke up slowly, and my body just felt so heavy, and then you're a kid, so you don't really think anything of it. You just kind of like, oh, that's probably just whatever.
Yeah.
And you don't really talk to anybody about it because it's not one of those things that you talk to somebody about. Like you just deal with it, you
Right.
know. So yeah, it's happened a few times, and or like mid dream, like you're doing something, and what's the not what's that where you know you're dreaming, but you can control the situation you're
Oh,
dreaming?
lucid dreaming.
Lucid dreaming. So I'm trying to think if that were the case. Like I'm in my dream, I'm fighting monsters or whatever. Most of the time, I'm a superhero in my
I'm sure.
dreams.
Oh, yeah,
of
I'm
course.
not surprised.
Yeah. So and then I'm like, oh fuck, it's a dream. Like it just felt so real. So I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna wake up. I'm done with this dream because it's kind of scary because I have monsters chasing after me. And I was like, I can't get up. I can't wake up. So I'm running, but it just feels like I'm putting so much effort in running, but I'm not really running, you know? And yeah, that's happened like a few times. But as an adult, not so much. Like I think as an adult, you're dreaming, you just want to stay in the dream, and just like, what else can I do in this dream? And then but because you're like, fuck, I know I'm dreaming, so it just takes it away. So you just wake up. But yeah, I definitely experienced it before.
From the years of 17 years old to probably like 24, 25, almost every night I would have sleep paralysis. And it got to the point where if I had to sleep with the TV on in my room, if I didn't sleep with the TV on, guaranteed sleep paralysis and like some kind of event, right? I think it all started, shout out to one of my favorite English teachers in high school, Mr. Leon. So
you know how I know like it's a Mister, not a Miss?
How?
I don't know, I just knew.
How did you know?
I don't know.
What if it was like
I'm asleep right now.
What if it was like what if it was like my favorite hot teacher or something like that? I did have a hot English teacher, but
yeah, it could be a dude too.
No, but the girl was hot. I didn't have any hot dude teachers, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, I had no.
Yeah.
So when you hear stories about this 20-something-year-old teacher sleeps with like the teenage boy, you're like, yeah, right, okay. Not when I was growing up.
Yeah, when I was growing up. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's fucked up though.
Yeah.
Because you know what's funny is like you hear stories about that and then like, oh, let the boy have their fun, blah blah blah. The lady shouldn't get in trouble. She's hot. But then if that was switched around,
yeah, instant.
Yeah, so it's fucking wrong and it's disgusting. Anyway, go on.
So yeah, Mr. Leon, he was into like creepy stuff, right?
Of course.
And he one day we were just talking about stuff, and he told the whole class about like some experiences he had. And I told him after class, I was like, "Hey, let me get some books, let me get some books that you were reading." So, and he's like, "No." And I'm just like, no, seriously, give me some books, And he's just like, "No, I'm not going to do it."
Yeah.
And I kept asking him, and finally he's like, "Dude, like, listen, you need to be careful, like you really need to be careful." And I was just like, that's exactly what I did, right?
I feel like he was fucking with you.
No. So
Anyway, go on.
So he gave me some books. I started reading a lot about like demonology and stuff like that. And then at the time, I was like starting to get into meditating a lot. Mm-hmm. But when I was meditating, like a lot of people meditate to relax or whatever. I would never meditate with the intention of relaxation or of clearing my mind. I would meditate to see how deep I could go, to see what kind of experiences I could have, to see what kind of things I could unlock. And I would just try to get into really, really deep meditation.
So you think you maybe untapped like
yes.
What was it called? MD. Because you know how people take.
Yeah. Is it MDMT?
No. MDMT, I think is ecstasy. I'm pretty sure. God, we're terrible with drugs. You can tell how nerdy we are. But so your body has this fluid,
right?
And if you are capable, you can really tap into it. That's why a lot of people do it the easy way, where they do ayahuasca or they do acid, whatever.
Right.
But your body.
It's like a natural hallucinogenic.
It has it because when you go through like a very strong physical trauma, it turns on, right?
Yeah.
So I think maybe, perhaps, I don't know, I'm not you, maybe, because you've told me before where you went really deep into it and you've seen things, you experienced things. And I think that what makes you the person that you are today, because you just kind of like, there's a lot of things where you're like, because, people say, like, you shouldn't worry about things that you have no control over. People say that all the time. I say it all the time. But I think you're the only other person that really, truly believes it, where if it's not going to affect you, if it's not going to bother you, you're not going to have time to just think about it. You just let it go. So I think people who really tap it the right way are able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, the meditation was super valuable, but I think that there is like a little attic, like there's a little attic door in my head.
Yeah.
Or like a soul or something, and I cracked it open.
Yeah.
Right?
Would you say you cracked it open, or you found the key and you can tap it anytime you want?
No, yes, that as far as like the meditation part, but I'm talking about some kind of abnormal spiritual shit. So my theory, and this is non-scientific, this is just bullshit, right? Like, my theory is that I feel like there are things that happen around us. There's like energy, whatever you want to call it, right? That happens around us. And you can be a part of kind of tapping into that, but most people won't, right?
Right.
Because they just don't want to. But I think that when I was meditating, because I was meditating for answers and meditating for the wrong reasons,
you accidentally tapped into that.
So I think I cracked this door to kind of allow some shit in, right?
Right.
So
was that also based on, because we talk about manifesting, right? We talk about visualizing, manifesting, and because you are in this pathway of what you want, 9 times out of 10 or 9.9 times out of 10, you get what you want. So do you think that particular, I guess, untap that you did made you get those things much easier because you have kind of uncovered something inside of you?
Yeah. I think it all comes from the meditation, right? Like from being able to have those answers and stuff like that. But I think what jacked me up was like how I was doing it, So I remember that I was meditating once, and I had never done it before, but I wanted to try a guided meditation.
And this is the first time?
No, I was already meditating for a while.
So here's my question. Give me a play-by-play of the first time where you went deep in the streets of meditation, like where you're just like, you cracked open that door. So give me a play-by-play
The spooky door or the good meditation door? There's two
Whatever
different
you
things
feel
there.
like you want to talk about.
So the very first time that I was like, oh, this is some serious shit, I had messed up my knee, and I was in an MRI. I had to get an MRI. So I was in an MRI machine, and when you're in an MRI machine, they put your whole body, depending on where you are, but they put my whole body into this MRI machine, right?
It fits?
Yeah.
Just
So I was in there, and it's just really loud. It's just like bang. It's like a banging.
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been...
So I was in there, and I was already meditating, so I was just like, oh, this is going to be fine. It was like 20 minutes. But then my foot touched the wall of the machine. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, like, I was kind of in a meditation, and as my foot touched it, like, it was vibrating, and it kind of like almost made my whole body vibrate, and like I disappeared. It's so weird. My body disappeared.
So what you meant to say was when you were meditating, you were there physically, but because this could be like bro science or whatever, and this is what I'm getting, at least this is what I'm trying to explain it in my head, is when your feet kind of touch the machine, because it's vibrating. Maybe when you say disappear is maybe you were one with the machine in a sense, so you couldn't tell the difference between your body and the machine.
Well, it was like the basically it's sensory deprivation, right?
Right.
So it's like my hearing was gone. I was closing my eyes, and then the feeling, because of the vibration, it was like sensory deprivation. So I really went deep.
It's like you in a tank.
Yeah,
like you're
and
in a tank.
I remember that I just like was visualizing this, like it was just like jumbled thoughts, right? And as soon as like I discovered that my foot, like the feeling, I took it off, and I was still like jumbled thoughts, and I was like, oh, let me just go deep. So I put my foot back, and I disappeared, and it was like somebody was taking these jumbled thoughts, like a big ball of yarn, and then they just rolled that ball of yarn, and so the ball was just unraveling, and it was just like one stream of like thought, right? And then everything started to come really naturally, like things that were like thoughts that I had been thinking, thoughts that I didn't even like realize that I was thinking, things that were coming back. And it was for like 15 minutes that I was doing that. And that was like the first time where it was just like...
So did you like just... You didn't control it, you just wrote it out. Is that what you did?
Yeah.
And you just kind of let it happen. You're just there, and you're just following this thread.
Right. So after that, I was able to reach that point, right? And
go ahead.
I was able to tap into that after in my meditations.
Yeah.
Record.
Okay,
So
go on.
I would try to reach that same level in my regular meditations. And I remember I was trying to do a guided meditation to kind of go a little deeper.
Yeah.
So I started playing the record, right? And it's just, not a record, but like the sample or whatever. And basically the way it goes is it tells you relax everything. It starts off by like just relaxing, and then relax your legs, relax your shoulders, like go from head to toe, relaxing everything, right? Letting go of stuff. And then I remember I hit a pretty deep zone of meditation, and I was listening to the voice, and then this voice, like it just switched.
This is the spooky one?
Yeah, I can only describe the voice as like acid. It was like very acidic. And it was so intense and so scary that I couldn't listen to what it was saying.
So
I was too scared.
So can you give me an example?
It was kind of like Voldemort, like a parcel tongue, right?
Oh, the snake tongue, you mean?
Yeah, kind of like parcel tongue, but it was just like in my ears, it was just like so piercing and like just acidic, And I couldn't listen. And then, of course, I tried to come out of it, and I was locked.
You're stuck.
Yeah, I was locked in.
Yeah.
So by this point, I had some sleep paralysis events, so I was kind of used to it, right? But in my head, I was thinking, I'm so scared, but I can't listen to this voice. I wanted to because I was so curious, but then I was just like, you know how like sometimes like you feel like you want something and then you get it and you're just like, oh fuck, I'm scared, right? Like, or like it's just overwhelming. So I was very curious, but I just couldn't. I was too scared to face it. And that was probably a little bit one of my more intense like meditation sessions. But then after that, I stopped meditating. Like I stopped meditating. I stopped meditating like right before I went to sleep. But by this time, I had already kind of been okay at like getting into that, like into the role of meditation. So I think that what happened is as I was falling asleep on a regular basis, I would kind of hit that same zone and I would get locked in.
So your body couldn't tell the difference between the sleep paralysis to your deep meditation. So it's just like, oh, it's the same thing. Let's just turn the switch on.
Right.
Because it's just one single switch.
Yeah. So the science kind of behind it is that when you hit a certain point in your sleep cycle, your body does paralyze you. So that if you're dreaming, let's say you're dreaming that you're running a marathon,
right?
It's
REM sleep. Yeah.
Right. So it paralyzes you so that if you're dreaming that you're running, you're not going to run.
So you're safe. You're not hurting your body.
Yeah.
So it has that switch that turns it off.
Right.
So anyway, sorry. Go
so
on.
the science of this sleep paralysis is that you wake up in the middle of that paralysis, and it's natural paralysis your body goes through every night. You wake up and you experience things, and sometimes you experience hallucinations or whatever, right? Yeah. For me, I don't. So that's why I'm very scientific, right? But this just really fucks me up because
you're Batman. You need logical science, scientific explanation.
And it's so hard for me to believe in this stuff because there's no scientific explanation. But like the fact of the matter is that guided meditation, when I snapped out of it, it was only like 6 or 7 minutes in. You know, how can you hit REM sleep if like REM sleep, that cycle starts like 30 to 45 minutes typically, right? But it was 6 or 7 minutes in, you know, and I snapped out of it, and on top of that, like I've had a lot of visions, you know, like I've had visions of like a kid crawling on a wall. I've had this smoke thing that moved across my room. So those can all be hallucinations, right? I have had 2 specific experiences though that really make it hard for me to explain it away. So the first one, I had just broken up with one of my girlfriends. Mm-hmm. And I literally had just walked into my house, and after that conversation of breaking up, right? And I was sad or whatever, and I decided I'm just gonna go to sleep because it was a bad night. So I was asleep on my bed, and I had like a sliding door in my room, and it casted a shadow on the wall, right? And it was like a straight line of shadow. So I started to try to go to sleep, and I figured, I don't need the TV because I'm just too sad or whatever. I'm just going to go to sleep. And as I was falling asleep, there's like a straight line, right? And 2 faces came out of that the shadow. Like it was like a silhouette. It wasn't like a direct face that I could see, but it was like a silhouette of a face, you know? And I was just, I had already experienced a lot of stuff by this time. So I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to ask it for help.
So, but were you asleep?
I don't know. This is the thing. Like, I don't really know, right? Like, I can't tell. I never know. So, I'm going to ask her for help. And so I was just like, hey, I just broke up with my girlfriend. What should I do? Like, what should I do?
Kill her.
No. And I don't know why, but it got super angry at me, right? And I would always like have like a pillow like in front of me
to hold.
Yeah, to cuddle with.
Right.
So I remember that I can sense like the anger, and from the pillow like something came at me, right? And on the wall, in the mouth of the silhouette, I saw like a spark, right? And then I snapped out of it. And when I woke up, I was tasting copper. Like I tasted like copper. It was it's so weird, dude. And there, like I said, there is zero scientific explanation that I can give.
Have you had dreams where you ate like food and it was like the best tasting food ever?
Yeah.
But when you woke up, you tasted it.
No, never. Never.
But except this is different. This is when you
completely
woke up, you
dude,
taste the
my tongue was tingling and I could taste copper.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the fuck? And of course I just turned the TV on. That was the thing that I always did. I just woke up, turned the TV on and tried to go back to sleep.
Yeah. And how long when you fell asleep to when you woke up, like did you look at the time and like, oh, it was only like a couple of minutes?
Yeah, it wasn't that long because I had like it was like probably like 11, and like the latest like when I woke up to turn the TV on, it was like midnight-ish. You know, I would
Right,
always
so it
it's
wasn't
possible
that
that
long.
I hit the REM right because it was maybe an hour-ish.
Right.
But the thing that kind of got me was like that lasting effect. And I remember probably my worst experience, which makes it super real, is when I was Danya and I had moved out to our apartment, and in that apartment we were living in front of a pool. So we lived on the 5th floor, and the pool, like the water, like cast a light on the roof. You know, like so it was like kind of like that like gleaming light or whatever.
Yeah.
So we were sleeping, and I was on my side. I was facing her, and I hit paralysis, and by this time I hadn't had it in a long time, so it was kind of weird, you know. And then of course, like out of the corner of my eye, I saw something on the shadow. Like I saw a shadow on the light on the ceiling, and by this time I was just like, all right, I just have to. I was kind of like calm about it now, just used to it. So I was just like, okay, I just have to make noise so that Dunya can move, so that I can snap out of it. So I was trying to make I was trying to make a noise, you know, like trying to make a noise, and this is where this is where it really fucks me up, because before this I had never been guaranteed that I was asleep or not. I could never tell. I was probably sleeping. Chances are I was sleeping, right? And I was just having some kind of something, right? So I would always snap out of it. Like I would always be in that trance, and then I would snap out of it and like just jolt out of it, right? But this time, I physically with my eyes, I saw Dunya. She was facing away from me. She turned around, and she reached and she pulled me out of it. And I saw this. Like I saw her doing it, you know. So I wasn't asleep, and I saw her, and she pulled me out of it. And she's like, "Hey." And she's like, "Are you okay?" And then I just snapped out. Of course, I snapped out of it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Yeah, I'm okay. Why?" And she's like, "I don't know." And I was like, and then she like just turned around to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Hey, why did you wake up? Like, why did you say that?" And she's like, "Oh, I don't know. You were making some kind of noise."
You said that to her?
No, she said that to me.
Okay.
I asked her why she had woken up, you know, to ask me if I was okay. And she said that I was making noise, and that's why she woke up and asked me. And after that, like to this day, like I can't. It seems just like such a simple story, but to me, it like solidified that something fucked up was happening. Like something super fucked up was happening, because I had never had confirmation that I was awake throughout this stuff, you know?
So that was confirmation where you were actually awake, but you thought you were asleep. So it was just like almost like a mirrored effect where you're just kind of like, you're seeing it, you're experiencing it, but you can't really tell if it's real or not.
Right.
So you could have physically, you could move or whatever, but maybe visually, maybe you're asleep. So you can't really, you don't know.
Yeah, is it
have
a
you
dream
like talked
or
to anybody about it? Like,
no. So it got so bad that I was stressing out about it, you know? And so I think I was like 4, maybe 5 years out of high school. And I went back to Mr. Leon, and I went to go visit him, you know? And I told him, I was like, "Hey man, I don't know if you remember me, you know, we talked about this." And he like vaguely remembered me, because like he was my favorite teacher, you know?
right.
And I told him, I was like, "This is happening to me, and I don't know what to do." And he's like, And then he remembered. He's like, I fucking told you, dude. He's like, I told you to be careful. And he's like, what have you been doing? And I told him about the meditation. And he's just like, this whole time I'm telling about all the experiences I've had. And he's just shaking his head, you know? And I was like, what do I do? And he's like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you,
So,
you know?
so when he was, so I'm talking about your teacher, right? So
Yeah.
when he was teaching you whatever, he was telling you stories about like spooky stuff. Like, is it from his experience or just like stories?
Yeah, like he told us a story like when he was walking in LA from something or something like that, and he had like an experience in a like dark alley or something like that. And then he said that he had like he had like a shadow event happening to him too at another time. So he would like tell us stories about that kind of stuff.
With that, you're like, hey, I wanna. You were curious. You wanted to dive into it a little bit, and you're like, hey, do you have any books that I can read? And he's like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But then when he said that, it got you even more curious. So you decided to do your own research, and through that, it's like through meditation or whatever. So
So I did meditation. I was reading books like on demonology and
Oh yeah, yeah,
things
that's
like
right.
that.
So with all that's happening, so you inadvertently untap this thing in your head or whatever, or this world. So when you went back to him, you're like, hey, what the fuck do I do? And then he's like,
Yeah, I don't know. I told
so
you. He just basically said, I told you.
so basically, even so he was in a sense was trying to like save you. Like he was like, just don't
Fuck with it.
don't fuck with it, because he was experiencing it or whatever. He didn't want you to be a part of it either. So because of him saying to push you away from that, it even made you more curious.
Of course.
So after the fact, so when he said, I don't know what to tell you, like, was he like, just be careful?
I think he told me to try to talk to like a therapist or something like that, like to see if maybe it was because again back to the science, the sleep paralysis thing. It could be caused by like high stress, sleep deprivation, stuff like that. You know.
Right.
So he was trying to get me to go, like talk to somebody, and at the time I was just like, therapy is bullshit. Like therapy is not going to do anything for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So of course, like I didn't listen to that. And I just kept going. Like I just kept sleeping with the TV on.
So let's have a question, or maybe like a thought. So in my later years, right? Like I do believe now that I'm older, I do believe in like energies, and I do believe in like karma. I do believe in like that there are things out there that are somewhat unexplainable, and also neurologically we haven't really tapped as much as we want, right?
Right.
Like we've heard that people have used 20% or even 30% of their brain or whatever. But not that I've done the research or whatever, but as far as I know, we haven't really gone deep into our minds or whatever.
Right.
So with that, and I do believe there's like energies around us that we can't see, can't feel unless we tap into meditation or whatever. I think sometimes when we experience that, we it's almost like we double down, right? Because we can't explain it, we tend to like, because I can't explain it, I'm assuming that what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing is real. I believe it. So my question would be, does your mind, because you already taken the step to like, what I'm seeing is real, what I'm seeing is I can explain it, I'm going to believe it. So your mind almost like doubled down and just like, okay, because you already in your soul, you're like, this is real to me.
I'm still conflicted though.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
because
as
there's no explanation, right?
Right.
So it's almost like you're more confused, but the more you're confused, the more like you separate yourself from diving deeper. It's almost like you want to believe that it's real, and you want explanation, but if you dive deeper, it might take you somewhere where you might not be able to escape.
No, I don't think I want to believe it's real. I
You just
think,
want an explanation.
of course, that's the scientist in me, right? That's the Bruce
Yeah.
Wayne in me, but I don't I don't want to believe it's real, dude, because if it's real, then that's some scary shit. You know?
I mean, on top of everything else that you're dealing with, life in general. So
Right.
then that's it's another world that you have no control over, especially when you don't have any, I guess, a way to get stronger. And the only way that I think that you can get stronger is by making your mind stronger, right?
Yeah.
To kind of like,
And that's what I thought. So I always, and this is the reason why I'm so accepting of my weakness, is that at that age, I was always, your mind can do anything, right? And that's kind of like how my mindset was, my attitude was, like, especially like when we had the conversation a little bit about like depression.
Yeah.
Your mind can overcome that depression, right? Like I was finding new skills and abilities in my head that I just thought we were all powerful, and I still think that we are, but I could not snap out. Like all of the will that I could muster could not snap me out of that paralysis. The reason I think that the reason I came out most of the time was probably because whatever chemical, I don't know what it is, but it just took time. I could not will myself to snap out. Like there was times when I would try so hard, and I remember one time, like, you ever seen Paranormal Activity?
no,
You never seen it?
but I know it's fake.
Yeah, but you never seen it, the movie?
No, I don't watch scary movies, dude.
Dude. So there's a part so basically there's like a demon haunting the family, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the wife.
It took people forever to realize that it wasn't a real movie. Like it was like,
No, that one they knew for sure it was fake. I think you're thinking maybe Blair Witch. Blair Witch.
I thought it was paranormal because people thought it was like real, but then they're like, no, it's a movie. Like,
Maybe there was some questions
there was
about
a
it.
handful of like, and then they had to come out and say like, no, this is a movie. Like we made it up.
I don't remember. Maybe there was some question about
Yeah.
it. I remember Blair Witch for sure. That was like people were questioning whether it was real or not, right?
And people like felt sick watching it because of camera movement or whatever.
That movie fucked me up. But so the wife is like being haunted by the demon, and there is a certain part in the movie, and that movie really, really, really jacked me up, dude.
Hit close to home.
Yeah. So there's a certain part in the movie where you can see, like, basically they're recording themselves sleeping just because it's like a vlog. He was trying to do a vlog or something like that.
Right.
So they're recording themselves sleeping, and then it fast forwards, and then when there's an event, obviously it's setting you up, right? Like it's fucking bullshit. It's a scary movie. So when there's an event, it slows down, and then it's like, whatever happens, and nothing's happening. So like prior to this, like something would happen, like a noise or a door would swing.
Yeah.
Nothing was happening. And then all of a sudden you just see she like snaps up, and then she yells. She's just like, ah, And then you're just like, oh, what the fuck? And then the husband wakes up, and he's just like, what's the matter with you? And she nothing happened. She just goes back to sleep.
Oh.
That happened to me, right? But I was paralyzed. And I remember I was trying so hard to will myself out of it that when I did snap out of it, I like sat up like that.
Yeah.
And like when I saw that, I related to it so much that it made the movie, and that's probably why the movie was so scary, but it made that movie so much more scary to me. And dude.
I wonder if you could really genuinely talk to somebody about it, and what they tell you have at least have some solace and closure about, okay, that makes sense. Unless you're like, I don't want to know. I kind of like that you don't know, So, because and again, you can only speak from how heavy your sleep paralysis was, and I can't really, like, you can't explain to me what you experienced. You can say it, and same for me, right? So, I've had those before, but never, maybe not to like how extensive you have had. I've felt, but I've always been able to snap out of it, right? And it would take a while, but I think maybe in my head I just believe that I'm strong enough to overcome it,
right?
To just kind of like, I know it's a dream, I know people are hunting me in my dream, I know it's fake because I've had like monsters or whatever swung shit at me, literally in my face, and either I deflect it or I get it, and then I either wake up from it or just like suffer through it, you know. And you think like, oh fuck, that hurt, you know.
Have you ever woken up like laughing or crying?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Dude,
yeah.
those are crazy
Oh
experiences.
yeah. Dude, have you? So I've woken up, yes, super sad, and I just don't know why. And you're just like, I know this is a dream, but I'm so sad right now. Or woke up angry and just like, I know I was sleeping, but I'm so fucking pissed off right now.
Yeah.
Like, and it's and then and your mind kind almost like, I'm not gonna tell you what you dreamt about. So you're just like, why the fuck am I mad?
I
Or
usually
why the
have a
fuck am I
feeling.
sad?
I usually remember my dreams, but like, you know, somebody once told me that when you have a dream and that you remember it when you wake up, as soon as you touch your head, it disappears. Like, then you forget. Like I swear to God, I've made the best song in the whole entire
Oh
universe,
shit, yeah.
and then I wake up and I'm just like, fucking lost it.
So I think that so for a while I did this, and I need to keep doing it. For a while I always have like either a notebook or a notepad or whatever next to me. So when I do have like a premonition or like a good idea in my head that I think is a good idea, I write it down.
Yeah.
Or like I've slept where I thought I was making music in my head. I've woken up and went in my studio and started
Really?
writing. I've done that before.
Damn.
I'm trying to remember if there's any like particular songs that I've done now. I think Circa Nebula, I did it that way. Home Alone, I did it that way where I just kind of was asleep and then I woke up, like inspiration hit, and I just had to like start writing or whatever.
I could never do that.
So
It just goes away.
yeah, so I think while you're in the moment, but now you're just so lazy. At least for me, you just woke up like, whatever. I'll remember it, but you don't ever remember it. So
No.
I think I want to try and dive deeper into it. Like when I go to sleep, and I haven't done this lately just because I've been so busy with work. But I want to try it again. Usually, I try to get in a meditative state when I'm trying to sleep, and then you just fall asleep.
Be careful.
I know, but I'm just kind of curious to kind of dive into it to experience, because I do want to untap it and see.
Be careful.
But I don't read a lot of the stuff that
It doesn't matter. So for me, it's not what's in the head, right? When you're doing it, for me, it's what's happening. So
Yeah.
when you're meditating, and if you like, I don't know, like again, this is bullshit, but when you're meditating, and if you go into a sleep state, you cross this like threshold, right? Where like, let's say like your spiritual gates are closed during the day, right? Maybe some people's are a little bit more open, maybe they're a little more receptive. So like, for example, like say you're walking somewhere, sometimes I'll be walking like somewhere, and I can just feel my mom's presence, right? And I acknowledge it, and I just feel it, something, right?
Well, I feel the same way, because that's why I'm like, I believe in energies, and I don't think anybody is truly gone when they're gone.
Yeah, and I feel I don't really know what I feel about that, but I feel like I don't know if it's the fact that something scientifically is still here, or that they kind of, through our power and our wills, it kind of lingers on.
Well, because of
and
your
it
memory, because the legacy that anybody leaves behind are either their next of kin or just the memories, because that's how you live forever, is
Right.
through the actions that you've done and the people that know you personally, right? That's how you live forever, technically. And that's how you tap into immortality. I feel like maybe you're not physically there, but your story lives on, the idea of you lives on. And I think that is the closest to immortality that we've tapped into, unless something else, or you live forever, it would genuinely live forever, or you can put your subconscious in.
It could be happening. We don't even know.
Yeah,
Who knows?
We've talked about that, but I physically want to be here and be able to do stuff. if I were to be immortal or live forever, because then you can experience
because you're a doer.
Exactly, the intangible or whatever. I can enjoy imagining things in my head. I can enjoy being in the clouds, right? But it always comes down to actually doing it. I want to be able to touch it. I want to be able to really experience it and write it down, see it for myself. That's where I at least draw the line, you know?
Yeah.
But
so I think that so I think you have those gates, right? And some people's are different like sizes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that when you do that cross between meditation and sleep, those gates kind of just open, right? So when you sleep, I feel like the gates are open, but you're controlled because you're sleeping. You're not conscious, sleeping, right?
Your body's protecting you.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But as a meditation, you're still conscious, but you're in a different state of mind. So you kind of open that too, right? And I feel like what happened is like those things kind of clashed together.
Yeah.
And that's what was allowing everything to happen in a certain way. So be careful, my guy.
So with that being said, I would like to end it right here just because, again, I love that we can go on forever, but I wanna see if we can do it under an hour and go from there. Just so numbers, you know, I want to see numbers. But again, thank you for watching, listening. It's gonna be available on Halloween. Halloween is going to be available right then and there. It's a bonus episode because we do have, if you've listened already, episode 7 part 1, and then part 2 will be the following week. But anyway, you will be able to catch this on is it Saturday? Saturday is Halloween, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so let's say Friday,
October 31st.
Yeah, midnight. 12:01. It's gonna be available 12:01 if you're up that late watching
2:30, the witching hour.
You want me to do it at 2:30? I can do that. We'll talk about it. Anyway, so thank you for listening. Thank you for checking it out. I've recently started my podcast again, so if you are curious to what I am talking about, you can listen to mine. But anyway, you can find us on at the Doer and the Thinker podcast, and we have links on YouTube if you'd like to see us in our costumes-ish and listen to us. So anyway, thank you. We appreciate. I think this is a kind of cool setup, so we'll see how I color grade this. Anyway.
Have a good night, dearies.
Bye.